nó sẽ ngày càng tăng, ngày càng tăng, ngày càng tăng, cho đến sẽ đến một cái lúc mức nào đó mà cái giá trên thị trường nó không có tương xứng với giá trị thật của hàng hóa nữa, và lúc đó là có khả năng là nền kinh tế sẽ bị sụp đổ. So this is a really difficult question, but I applaud Chu Nam and Khánh Ngọc for trying to answer, and yeah, I really like their answer. Thank you. All right, now let's move on to today's lesson. I just sent the dry link of today's lesson in the chat box. Can you check it?
I got it.
All right, download it. You can see the screen right now, right?
Yes.
All right. So now first, let's do the second exercise. I will give you some time and match the words with the definition. Tell me when you're finished. Have you finished? Not yet. I'll give you a few more minutes. Finish yet? All right. Now, let's start with A. Express strong emotions. So, which word express strong emotion? Anybody? Okay, Bảo Ngọc. Bảo Ngọc, can you answer?
My answer is doubtful.
Yes, shout. How about B? Be known or discovered finally and surprisingly. Stella, can you help me with this?
I don't know, teacher.
Okay, so who knows the answer? The answer for this sentence is turn out. So we have one is shout, two turn out. How about sentence C? The ability to live forever. Bảo Ngọc, please.
The answer is immortality.
Yes, very good. Immortality. And sentence D, tell someone that you will kill them, hurt them, or cause them problems. Right, Bảo Ngọc, continue.
It's put your eyes, put your hands on your heart.
Can you repeat the answer?
My answer is threatening.
Oh yes, threaten. That's correct. How about sentence E, learn something? Junam, can you answer this?
It's to figure out.
Yes, very good. Figure out. And F, joy, connect. F, what is your answer for F?
It's to tie.
Yes, very good. Tie. Right, thank you. And go upside down. Yeah, Hung, please.
Flip.
Flip, yes. Answer is flip. And the last one. Hung, please.
Distracted.
Yes, very good. Distracted. All right, so let's return to part to exercise 1. Discuss the question. Okay, now before you read this question, keep in mind the name of today's lessons. Today's lessons is your online life is permanent. Think about your own online life and then discuss this question. All right, I will give you some time to read the question and think about your answer. The first question is kind of difficult, so just take a guess. It's okay if you answer wrong. All right, you ready? All right, so question 1. How do you think big data, tattoos, and immortality can be connected? Right, so before we answer this question, can somebody explain to me what is big data? Just talk from your knowledge. Okay, Khánh Ngọc.
Well, like when you say big data, I immediately think of like a lot of data.
Yes, close. Yeah. So basically, big data are all the data that website or apps like Facebook, YouTube, Google collect about you, and then they use it to recommend you something. So all of the data about you on that website is called big data. So yes, it is a lot of data. And how about tattoo? You know what is tattoo?
The things that painters that the uh, painters draw on you. Like,
Yes. So it's like a painting that you put on your body. Right? Tiếng Việt mình gọi là hình xăm. Okay, so how do you think big data, tattoos, and immortality can be connected? Anybody want to volunteer? Just take a guess. Ba thứ này là giống nhau chuyện nào? Okay, Khánh Ngọc, please.
Like sometimes, sometimes people get a tattoo because that something happened to their life and they just wanna like have it on their body to make it their mark. So I get like tattoos and big data is like everything. Immortally, like it's kind like a tattoo. Mostly it's gonna be there forever on your body unless you're gonna erase it and you like mostly people just get it on their body forever.
Yes, very good. So yeah, that is the topic of today's lesson. A lot of the things you do online will be permanently there. It will always be there. It's like a tattoo. It is very difficult to be removed. So, okay, let's skip the second question. So, what information about you can be found on the internet? All right, anybody want to volunteer for this? All right, Junan.
I think that that's your image, your not a private not your privacy image, but your face. If you wish you have your will to show them out, your usernames, um, your families, your friends. Like on Facebook, we all see that. On Twitter's, you can find your tweet, your everything that you try to show your books or some text that you would like. So it all show out. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff you can learn about yourself or about other people just from the internet. All right, thank you. All right, now let's do exercise 3. Match the word from the two columns to create a collocation, and then put the collocation into the sentence down here. All right, I will give you 10 minutes to do this. All right, tell me when you're finished. All right, ready? Now, so A, utter what? Can I invite Yeah Hung? Yeah Hung, can you hear me?
I don't have the answer for the letter A yet.
Okay, all right. Okay, Bảo Ngọc, can you help me with this?
I think utter a word.
Yes, utter a word. Utter a word. How about B? Who has the answer for B? Yeah Hung, please.
Asking woman about her age is an indiscreet question.
I'm sorry. I mean B, like indiscreet. The word indiscreet.
Um, is an indiscreet question.
All right. So, with the word indiscreet, what word do you put with it to make a collocation?
The word question.
Yes, indiscreet question. All right. How about make? Make what? Yeah. Okay. Stella, can you help me with this?
I think it's make mistake.
Yes, make mistakes. How about D? Provide. Provide what? Bảo Ngọc.
Provide information.
Yes, provide information. E. Be familiar. Bảo Ngọc.
Be familiar with somebody.
Yes, and F. Charm. There's only one question left. Charm your way into or out of something. Okay, now let's deal with these sentences together. Sentence A. So what is your answer for sentence A? All right, Bảo Ngọc.
We provide information about ourselves on social media without thinking about consequence.
Yes, very good. How about question B? Now, can I hear from Juna?
So asking a woman about her age is indiscreet questions.
Yes, that's correct. In sentence C, I would like to hear from Khánh Ngọc.
The face recognition system is not perfect and it can sometimes make mistakes.
Yes, very good. All right, sentence D, can I hear from Gia Hưng?
What question?
D.
I'm not. Uh, I'm not provide information.
We already used the phrase. Oh, wait, oh, we already used the phrase provide information with sentence A. So for sentence C, sentence D, we have to use another phrase.
I don't know which one.
Okay. So the answer is I am not familiar with this singer. Can you tell me which band is he in? And sentence E. Sentence E. Can you help me with this, Stella?
I think that this is my secret project, so don't utter with somebody about this to anyone.
Okay, so don't utter a word about this to anyone. And sentence F is only one more answer. Some people can be rational in a crisis and charm their way out of trouble using their magnetic personality. All right. So with this, you should have the vocabulary to do the next activity. We will watch a video and then you will have to answer these questions. All right. Now have a look over the question. All right, ready? We will watch the video together and then try and answer those questions. Can you listen to the audio? All right.
All right, so let's take 4 subjects that obviously go together. Big data, tattoos, immortality, and the Greeks, right? And the issue about tattoos is that without a word, tattoos really do shout. So you don't have to say a lot. And tattoos tell you a lot of stories. If I can ask an indiscreet question, how many of you have tattoos? A few, but not most. What happens if Facebook, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn, cell phones, GPS, Foursquare, Yelp, Travel Advisor, all these things you deal with every day turn out to be electronic tattoos? And what if they provide as much information about who and what you are as any tattoo ever would? What's ended up happening over the past few decades is the kind of coverage that you had as a head of state or as a great celebrity is now being applied to you every day by all these people who are tweeting, blogging, following you, watching your credit scores, and what you do to yourself. And electronic tattoos also shout. And as you're thinking of the consequences of that, it's getting really hard to hide from this stuff, among other things, because it's not just the electronic tattoos, it's facial recognition that's getting really good. So you can take a picture with an iPhone and get all the names. Although, again, sometimes it does make mistakes. But that means you can take a typical bar scene like this, take a picture, say, of this guy right here, get the name, and download all the records before you utter a word or speak to somebody, because everybody turns out to be absolutely plastered by electronic tattoos. And so there's companies like Face.com that now have about 18 billion faces online. Here's what happened to this company. There are other companies that will place a camera like this. This has nothing to do with Facebook. They take your picture, they tie it to the social media, they figure out you really like to wear black dresses. So maybe the person in the store comes up and says, hey, we've got 5 black dresses that would just look great on you. So what if Andy was wrong? Here's Andy's theory. What if we flip this? What if you're only going to be anonymous for 15 minutes? Well, then, because of electronic tattoos, maybe all of you and all of us are very close to immortality, because these tattoos will live far longer than our bodies will. And if that's true, then what we want to do is we want to go through 4 lessons from the Greeks and 1 lesson from Latin American. Why the Greeks? Well, the Greeks thought about what happens when gods and humans and immortality mix for a long time. So lesson number 1, Sisyphus. Remember, did a horrible thing, condemned for all time to roll this rock up, it would roll back down, roll back up, roll back down. It's a little like your reputation. Once you get that electronic tattoo, you're going to be rolling up and down for a long time. So as you go through this stuff, just be careful what you post. Myth number 2, Orpheus. Wonderful guy, charming to be around, great partier, great singer, loses his beloved, charms his way into the underworld, only person to charm his way into the underworld, charms the gods of the underworld, they release his beauty on the condition he never look at her until they're out. So he's walking out and walking out and walking out, and he just can't resist. He looks at her, loses her forever. With all this data out here, it might be a good idea not to look too far into the past of those you love. Lesson number 3, Atalanta. Greatest runner. She would challenge anybody. If you won, she would marry you. If you lost, you died. How did Hippomenes beat her? Well, he had all these wonderful little golden apples, and she'd run ahead and he'd roll a little golden apple. She'd run ahead, he'd roll a little golden apple. She kept getting distracted. He eventually won the race. Just remember the purpose is all these little golden apples come and reach you, and you want to post about them or tweet about them or send a late message. And then, of course, there's Narcissus. Nobody here would ever be accused or be familiar with Narcissus. But as you're thinking about Narcissus, just don't fall in love with your own reflection. Last, a lesson from a Latin American. This is the great poet Jorge Luis Borges. When he was threatened by the thugs of the Argentine military junta, he came back and said, oh, come on, how else can you threaten other than with death? The interesting thing, the original thing, would be to threaten somebody with immortality. And that, of course, is what we are all now threatened with today because of electronic tattoos. Thank you.
All right. So let's return to the question. Right. So what examples of electronic tattoos did the speaker mention? Now, who want to volunteer for this? Khánh Ngọc.
I think he mentioned like mostly social media, and I was take note that Facebook and Twitter. And
Yes,
there's
very
a
good.
lot of one too.
Yeah, exactly. So he mentions a lot of them: Facebook, Google, Twitter, cell phone, GPS, travel advisor. Yep, a lot of those. How about the big question? What does FaceTune's camera do? Anybody here want to answer this question? Can I hear from Junan?
I don't know.
Okay, so who here have the answer for this? What does the face deals camera do? Khánh Ngọc, please.
I think what they says is that like they sees your face and like they kind of find you on Facebook, and then like they see that okay you like that type of clothing, and when you walk into the clothing store, say, oh this suits you, and like the customer tend to buy the clothes more than usual.
Yes, exactly. So the face deals camera takes your picture, it ties your picture to a social media, and then it figures out what you really like. How about question C? How does the speaker change Andy Warhol's theory? Anybody notice how did the speaker change the phrase, or I mean the quote of Andy Warhol? So what did Andy Warhol say? Do you still remember? Right. So Andy Warhol, the original quote is, "In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes." And now the speaker changed it into, "Everyone will be anonymous for only 15 minutes." And which characters from Greek mythology did the speaker mention? All right, for this question, can I hear from Yehung? Yehung, can you hear me? All right, how about Bảo Ngọc?
I don't have an answer for this question.
Okay, so who just name one Greek mythology that the speaker mentioned? The speaker mentioned 4 characters from Greek mythology. Can you just give me one? Who here can give me one? Okay, so the 4 Greek mythologies character that the speaker mentioned is Sisyphus, Orpheus, Atalanta, and Narcissus. Sound familiar? Right. Now we will listen. We will watch. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's watch the video again just the Greek mythology part, and then do exercise 5. Match each character, Sisyphus, Orpheus, Atalanta, and Narcissus, with one word, and explain what's the connection. All right, ready?
Why the Greeks? Well, the Greeks thought about what happens when gods and humans and immortality mix for a long time. So lesson number 1, Sisyphus. Remember, did a horrible thing, condemned for all time to roll this rock up, it would roll back down, roll back up, roll back down. It's a little like your reputation. Once you get that electronic tattoo, you're going to be rolling up and down for a long time. So as you go through this stuff, just be careful what you post. Myth number 2, Orpheus. Wonderful guy, charming to be around, great partier, great singer, loses his beloved, charms his way into the underworld, only person to charm his way into the underworld, charms the gods of the underworld, they release his beauty on the condition he never look at her until they're out. So he's walking out and walking out and walking out, and he just can't resist. He looks at her, loses her forever. With all this data out here, it might be a good idea not to look too far into the past of those you love. Lesson number 3, Atalanta. Greatest runner. She would challenge anybody. If you won, she would marry you. If you lost, you died. How did Hippomenes beat her? Well, he had all these wonderful little golden apples, and she'd run ahead and he'd roll a little golden apple. She'd run ahead, he'd roll a little golden apple. She kept getting distracted. He eventually won the race. Just remember the purpose is all these little golden apples come and reach you, and you want to post about them or tweet about them or send a late light message. And then, of course, there's Narcissus. Nobody here would ever be accused or be familiar with Narcissus. But as you're thinking about Narcissus, just don't fall in love with your own reflection.
All right. So let's return to the question. For Sisyphus, what is the connection? Which word do you connect with Sisyphus? Apple, reflection, rock, or underworld? Anybody want to volunteer? All right, Junam, can you help me with this?
I don't know what to say. It's kind of hard.
Okay, so let me show you. So Sisyphus, right? A Sisyphus. Now watch the video again and see what did the speaker mention about Sisyphus.
When gods and humans and immortality mix for a long time. So lesson number 1, Sisyphus. Remember, did a horrible thing, condemned for all time to roll this rock up, it would roll back down, roll back up, roll back down. It's a little like your reputation. Once you get that electronic tattoo, you're going to be rolling up and down for a long time.
So what did the speaker mention that Sisyphus do? Still not sure yet?
Thought about what happens when gods and humans and immortality mix for a long time. So lesson number 1, Sisyphus. Remember, did a horrible thing, condemned for all time to roll this rock up, it would roll back down, roll back up, roll back down. It's a little like your reputation. Once you get that electronic tattoo.
All right, so what is the word that is connected with Sisyphus in the box?
Sisyphus is connection with rock.
Yes, it's the rock. All right, how about Orpheus?
Orpheus is reflection.
Not reflection. Right, watch.
Tattoo, you're going to be
Watch for Orpheus.
Two,
Yeah.
Orpheus, wonderful guy, charming to be around, great partier, great singer, loses his beloved, charms his way into the underworld, only person to charm his way into the underworld, charms the gods of the underworld, they release his beauty on the condition he never look at her until they're out. So he's walking out and walking out and walking out, and he just can't resist. He looks at her, loses her forever. With all this data out here, it might be a good idea not to look too far into the past of those you love.
All right. So for Orpheus, what is the answer? Coming up, please.
I think underworld because it said too far.
Yes, underworld. So Orpheus, he went to the underworld to retrieve his lover, but then he fell. How about Atalanta? Do you have your answer for Atalanta?
I think it's apple.
Yes, apple. So what happened? What is the connection between her and the apples?
The last one is reflection.
No, I mean like with Atalanta, what is the connection between Atalanta and apples? Can you remember? All right, watch it again.
Lesson number 3, Atalanta. Greatest runner. She would challenge anybody. If you won, she would marry you. If you lost, you died. How did Hippomenes beat her? Well, he had all these wonderful little golden apples, and she'd run ahead and he'd roll a little golden apple. She'd run ahead, he'd roll a little golden apple. She kept getting distracted. He eventually won the race. Just remember the purpose is all these little golden apples come and reach you, and you want to post about them or tweet about them or send a late light message.
All right, so what is the connection between the apples and Atalanta? Tại sao với là Atalanta thì mình lại chọn cái apple? Chiều nay.
It's heading for her.
Can you say it louder?
It's heading for her. Well, she rolled the apple and she just run ahead to the apple and just roll and loops, and then she will.
Yes. And for the last one is Narcissus. Narcissus. The answer is reflection. Do you remember what is the connection between Narcissus and the reflection? Anybody volunteer? Can I hear from Yahung?
I don't have any idea.
Okay, watch the video again.
And then, of course, there's Narcissus. Nobody here would ever be accused or be familiar with Narcissus. But as you're thinking about Narcissus, just don't fall in love with your own reflection. Last, a lesson from Latin.
So for the myth of Narcissus, so Narcissus is a really beautiful man, and one time he looked into his reflection in the mirror or in a lake, and when he see how beautiful he is, he fell in love with himself, with the reflection of himself in the lake. So the connection is Sisyphus and the reflection. All right. Now, I'm afraid we're not gonna have enough time for this, so I will leave this part as your homework. Go home, at home, prepare to discuss this question, all of these questions. All right. So that's all for today. Do you have any questions?
No.
All right. If not, then that's all for today. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.